All right, welcome. Today, we're jumping into a topic that affects so many people but is, just deeply misunderstood. We're talking about contamination OCD. We're going to break down what it is, how it works, and, most importantly, talk about the journey to getting better.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. You go to open a door, but as your hand reaches for the knob, your brain just starts screaming at you, screaming that it's covered in something dangerous. This isn't just a little worry. It's a real, overwhelming feeling of panic. Well, for someone with contamination OCD, that's just a regular Tuesday.
So, first things first, to really get a handle on this, we need to have a super clear idea of what we're actually talking about when we say contamination OCD. Okay, so at its heart, contamination OCD is a very specific type of obsessive-compulsive disorder, and the key word here is irrational. The fear isn't proportional to the actual risk. It's kind of like your brain's internal alarm system is just stuck on full blast, making totally normal things feel incredibly threatening.
Now, to really understand why this is so tough to break out of, you have to look at the powerful engine that drives it. It's this vicious cycle that just gets stronger and stronger every single time it spins.
So here's how it goes. It all kicks off with one of those intrusive, obsessive thoughts. That thought triggers a wave of intense anxiety. Your brain is reacting like there's a real and present danger. So to get rid of that awful feeling, you perform a compulsion, like washing your hands over and over. And for a moment, you feel better. You get this little bit of relief. But here's the trap. That relief actually teaches your brain that the obsession was a real threat, which just makes the next obsession even stronger. And round we go.
Okay, so that's the internal loop. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Because, let me tell you, the impact on someone's daily life can be absolutely massive.
Think about this quote. For most of us, touching a doorknob is something we don't even think about. Here, it turns into this long, drawn-out ritual. The goal isn't just to be clean, it's about chasing this feeling of being completely clean, which of course is an impossible standard set by the OCD.
And the fear doesn't just stay outside, right? It invades the one place you're supposed to feel safe, your home. This shows how the disorder can create this invisible wall between a person and their loved ones, where a shared space becomes a constant source of contamination and anxiety.
And it can even mess with our most basic, fundamental needs. The fear can get so powerful that someone might literally prefer to go hungry than face the anxiety that comes with eating something they see as contaminated. It's just heartbreaking.
And to give you a sense of the sheer scale of these compulsions, think about this number. It's not at all unusual for someone with severe contamination OCD to wash their hands up to 100 times a day. 100. Imagine the raw skin, the lost hours, all spent on this one ritual.
And the signs just go on and on. It can mean avoiding public places altogether, being afraid of simple things like coins or pens, spending huge chunks of the day cleaning. It can also look like constantly Googling symptoms or asking people around you, "Am I okay? Is this safe?" Searching for a sense of reassurance that just never sticks.
So this all leads to a really important question. Why? Why does this happen? Understanding the why is so crucial for breaking down the stigma that, unfortunately, still surrounds conditions like this.
And let's get one thing crystal clear right now. Having OCD is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not a moral failing. It is a very real, well-understood medical condition, period.
So if it's not a weakness, what is it? Well, what the science tells us is that it's likely a combination of factors. There's a biological component. It can involve how the risk assessment parts of our brain work, along with an imbalance in brain chemicals like serotonin. Genetics can play a part, and so can life experiences. And often, a period of high stress can be the thing that triggers it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problem. But now, let's pivot to the most important and, honestly, the most hopeful part of all of this. The solutions, the path to getting better.
This is the question that really matters, isn't it? For anyone who's going through this or who loves someone who is there a way out? Is there hope?
And I'm so happy to say the answer from all the research is a huge, resounding yes. Recovery isn't just some vague possibility. It's genuinely achievable, and the success rates with the right treatment are incredibly high. So how do you get there? Well, the number one, gold standard treatment is a specific type of therapy called exposure and response prevention, or ERP. Basically, it involves helping someone slowly and safely face their fears without doing the compulsive ritual. Over time, this literally retrains the brain. It learns that the anxiety will fade on its own and that the terrible thing they're afraid of doesn't actually happen. In some cases, medication can be a huge help too, along with learning strategies to stop seeking that temporary reassurance.
And what's so cool is that the whole goal of therapy really boils down to this: teaching the brain to tell the difference between a real danger, one that's based on facts and logic, and an obsessive danger, which is based purely on that intense feeling of fear that OCD creates.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The whole journey back is about learning to see that difference. It's about taking the steering wheel back from the disorder and realizing that you are in charge, not the fear.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought to carry with you. Now that we understand this one specific struggle a little better, how can we use that insight to build more empathy for all the hidden battles people are fighting inside their own minds every single day? Thanks so much for joining us.